Hey everyone, this is Jordan with Food Bevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I have the pleasure of talking with one of my friends and great founder, Blake from Blake's Seed Base, and here to tell us about his story and journey. So Blake, I'd love for you to give a quick intro on what the products are and how you got started.
Yeah, so Blake Seed Base is a CPG company. We make snacks made from seeds and fruit and seeds and chocolate that are free of the top 8 food allergens. And right now we have a line of snack bars, and then we just launched a line of Rice Krispie treats as well. And it's been around about 3 years.
And why seed-based bars?
So it goes back to one of my, actually an allergy of mine. I have a nut allergy, and the bars in the market had nuts in them and were made in facilities with nuts. So I kind of ended up solving my own problem and making bars with seed instead of nuts. That's how the idea started.
So you've been in business for a couple of years now and faced your share of challenges and roller coasters. But take us back to maybe the beginning of last year, the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic. Where were you focused on your business and what were your kind of plans for the year?
Yeah, so the beginning of 2020, we had grand plans to, continue our retail strategy. So we're about 1,000 doors at the beginning of last year, and had clear plans to roughly triple that until the pandemic hit, obviously, and almost all of that was on pause. So we had to kind of pivot our business and move most of our resources online. But like every other business, we were affected, but we just kind of had to be nimble and figure it out.
And then, where did you end up pivoting and what are you focused on now then instead of retail? Because I know that can be really challenging.
Yeah, so I think we kind of took a step back and said, we have the opportunity to really talk to our consumers online, and our customers, we're seeking allergy-friendly products out online. So things like, getting into Facebook advertising and Instagram, and, really nurturing our email database, and focusing on kind of building direct relationships with our consumer is really where most of our focus is right now. And then on the retail standpoint, long term, we think retail is a great outlet for us, but right now we're being selective about who we partner with and where we launch.
Yeah, digital has been really expensive, especially for food brands. Have you found any certain tactics or strategies that work better for your customer base?
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of understand like who you are as a brand and really who you're going after. And I think if we're trying to compete with the RXs and the Clifs and the Kinds on places like Google and Facebook, we just don't have the budget, right? And I think one thing we've learned is how are we going to stand out, and what keywords and what messaging are we really going to go after. So for us specifically, being a vegan brand and then certified nut-free, certified gluten-free, it's really honing in on really the low-hanging fruit and things that our customers are seeking out and speaking to them in a way where our brand resonates and they can trial our product.
No, I think that's great. And I know when you first started, there were not many nut-free options, but obviously there's been additional products that have like come on the market in different categories.
Yeah.
Are you still finding that people are like exploring and discovering new products? Like what are the consumer needs out there that you're finding right now?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a need. I think there are people that have food allergies that are seeking out our product, but there are also people just a general health and wellness consumer that might feel better if they don't eat gluten or don't eat dairy. So there's a lot of people kind of tinkering with their diets and trying out products. And with the ability of almost every brand has a website now, with the ability of Amazon. Again, just finding those keywords that work for your brand and connecting with those consumers, we found to be key.
Awesome. One thing that I want to chat about too is packaging. So I just hosted a webinar on using packaging design to do the selling for your product and get it off the shelf. And I know that, I've gone through like 4 different packaging iterations. I've been following your packaging journey as well. Talk about like what that experience has been like from some of your initial packaging to where you are now, and yeah, the challenges that you encounter, and any advice for brands or things that you've learned.
I think it's never ending. I mean, I think, remember the first time we made our packaging, we're like, this is the best packaging ever. Like, I can't imagine ever changing it. We've changed it probably 10 times since then. But I think really it's trying to simplify it, and it's listening to consumer feedback. And that's really what's led us to change our packaging. Now we have, a clear window in our product. So we're showing what's in the product, but, packaging, like every other brand, it's definitely evolved, and it's kind of, and important to finally kind of boil it down to what are the one or two things you really want to get across to the consumer, and why should they buy your product. And then, figuring out how you, convey that in your packaging.
Yeah, and that's so hard, right? Because there's a million things and like reasons that you want people to be able to buy, and that people do buy, right? And so for Blake's, like, what kind of messaging have you found recently that's really resonating? Is it about the seed component? Is it about nut free? Like, what angle have you found that people really taken towards?
Yeah, so I think what we found is we want to emphasize what's in the product, right? We really want to play that up. So the whole messaging of, seeds and fruit or seeds and chocolate, and then, showing them actually the product, their clear window, we think, that's proven to be, our best tactic. And then, we are allergy friendly, right? We're free of the top 8 food allergens, but that only resonates with a certain amount of people. So that's on our packaging, but we're not screaming it out because we don't want to, turn someone off that doesn't have a food allergy. So those are all things that we've, tinkered with over the last 3 years. And frankly, we'll continue to tweak things as we learn more.
Yeah, I know that too. In every survey that you do, the number one thing that consumers look for is taste and taste appeal in the food space. And I feel like a lot of brands kind of lose track of that. And your bars taste, great, and they look good too, right? And you can see the whole ingredients that are in there, versus a lot of the kind of new protein bars on the market. They just look like they're more of like a homogenous kind of yeah, slab of products. So I think that works really well in like showcasing some of your best features.
Yeah, yeah. And again, every brand has different value props, right? And like different things that they can play off of. So it's just kind of finding, what works best for you, and understanding who your consumer is.
And then as you look towards this year in terms of what, I know you kind of focus on e-commerce and growing that direct relationship. What other goals do you have for 2021, and how are you kind of approaching your business strategy?
Yeah, so most of our, say 2/3 of our budget and our focus really is online, across Amazon, our website, and then the other third is, we're focusing on Sprouts, and then we're launching on Kroger in June. So putting resources there, but a lot of it is, better understanding our consumer, and we're working really hard behind the scenes on some new products. We feel like there's an opportunity, to kind of create this, food allergen brand that has a bunch of different products that speak to consumers. So we're working hard on, some future products that I can't quite yet say, but we're hoping to roll a few of those out later this year.
Nice. So I know the Rice Krispie treat product is fairly new. Why did you decide like now is the right time to launch? When did you launch it, and kind of why did you decide that that was the right timing for you?
Yeah, so a lot of it goes back, luckily, being kind of the consumer, someone that has a food allergy, and kind of solving your own problem, and also listening to consumers. But we launched the Rice Krispie treat in January, and we were hearing from our customers that they just wanted kind of a healthier treat that they didn't feel bad about, under 100 calories. And with the Rice Krispie treat, a lot of our customers are vegan, and Marshmallow is not vegan, so a lot of people always wanted to eat that, but they either had to make their own, or they just didn't have it. So we thought that was kind of a fun way, kind of a nostalgic treat, and introduce it, and it's been doing incredibly well since we launched it.
Nice, that's awesome, and I'm excited to see what other products come out in the near future. And then you've been in this game for a little while. If you could give advice to founders just starting now, what would you tell them?
I think the more people you can talk to within the network or within the industry, and network with, I think the better. I think I was brand new to this industry 3 years ago, and the amount of advice and feedback I got when I first started, and continue to get, is really the only reason, we've made progress and been able to gain some traction. So I think talk to everyone you can. You don't always have to, take people's advice, but it's good to get different opinions. And then ultimately you can make the decision at the end of the day. But the more information you have from other founders and brands, the better equipped you are to, accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Nice. And along with that, have there been any tools or software or resources that you've used specifically with your business that you found has been like really helpful? I'm just thinking of like things that new founders can look up after looking at this, be like, hey, this is actually a really cool thing that's useful for their business too.
I don't know if there's necessarily like a software. I mean, there's the basic things like QuickBooks and Teams and all that, but I think LinkedIn's been actually a really good resource and as a way to meet founders. And that's how I've connected with most people in the industry, is just sending them a note, and a message, and the majority of them have gotten back to me. So yeah, I think that'd be my biggest thing, is just use I think LinkedIn to your advantage.
I love that. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn as well. It's become like the go-to network for founders and people in the industry to actually connect. And then finally, is there any help that you need that the community can reach out to you about for your business?
I think we need help in every point of our business. But I think a lot of it is, we are so focused on, our direct to consumer right now. So things like building our email database and our email flows on Klaviyo. And really, I'd say, targeting ads on Facebook. We're about 6 months in to trying those out, and we've seen good results, but always looking to improve in that area.
Perfect. I think that sounds great. Well, Blake, thanks so much for being on today. Really appreciate the conversation, and best of luck for this year.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you having me on.